my advisor insisted that I needed to keep my talk short. I had like 50 slides. But one of them was a picture of me, believe it or not, with blonde, sun-bleached hair, when I was about this big, believe that or not. And I was on the beach with a shovel, and that's where I started chasing cryptic invertebrates in the sand. The other picture was me at a tide pool, a touch tank, and I believe it was actually at the old Scripps tide pool, back when I was 5 years old. And so that's where it started. I think those types of experiences planted the seed. I'm a product of Birch, and I hope to be a product of Scripps again.
Okay.
And that's what really got me going.
Okay, thanks, Levi. Liz?
I agree. I think the exposure when you're young to the outside environments and the natural world is really what got me hooked on science. I remember being in high school and going on a field trip one day to the beach and looking at a woman that was giving a tour. She was, she was talking to us about what was going on the beach and the different ecosystems there. And I remember looking at her and saying, "Do you get paid to do this?" And she said, "Yeah, this is my job." And I said, "What?" I want that to be my job. I love the natural world, and I'm a very curious person, and so being able to have a career in investigating what's going on in the natural world is what drives me.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And Lauren?
I'm going to second everything Liz and Levi had said. I had two qualities as a child, which apparently are the makings of a future scientist. One was that I asked a really incessant number of questions, no matter how many times my older brothers told me to stop. And the other one was that I always wanted to be outside. And on that note, I'd like to put out a plug to all the students in the audience to volunteer for SCOPE and inspire more young minds to be scientists like us.
Well, first of all, it's made my arms a little flabbier because I don't have to haul that wagon around anymore.
You've got that cool car to drive now along the beach.
Yeah, no, I drive along the beach, so I'm going to have to get a gym membership or something. No, I don't think that our lab or any of the labs at Scripps would be as successful as they are today if they didn't have the donor support. And I think, as I said before, this private donor support especially provides the ability for us to take a little bit more risk in our science, because a lot of the times with the traditional sources of funding, you really need to have a lot of the science already established in order to prove something that's documented to give to a federal funding agency. And so I think that the donor support has really provided the innovation that's here at Scripps. I mean, there's so many labs that are doing innovative things, and those are the type of sort of risky science that wouldn't be possible without private donor support. So.
Yes, yes, here. Lauren?
I absolutely agree with everything Liz has said, and most of us know that Scripps was more or less founded on donor support, and I truly believe that the reason it's one of, or the best, apparently, ocean and atmospheric research institution is because we have so much private support, and both students and faculty are able to take risks and do the risky science. And I wouldn't be here today by any stretch were it not for donor support, because I left the University of Miami as a very ambitious and over-enthusiastic 22-year-old, and I wanted to study climate science and coral reefs, and I applied to about 15 schools, and they all said no. Like, you can pick one, but you can't do both of those. Those are two different research areas. But I came to Scripps, and I had the support of two wonderful advisors who said, go for it. We'll find a way to make it work. And I had a full private fellowship my first year. I was later able to get the IGERT award, and without those, I just simply wouldn't be able to do the things I do, so.
Okay, thank you. And Levi?
Without donor support, I would not own a suit. And I would probably live under a bridge. Okay, all jokes aside. When I came here, I didn't even understand the concept of donor support. It didn't make sense to me when people said, oh, there are people willing to give money to support students. It's phenomenal to know that people are that generous. Why is it important? It's become very clear just in the last year. When Jen, my advisor, called me into office and said, hey, there's a spot on a cruise in 6 days. Do you want to go? Because of donor support, I'm not TAing. I'm not tied to a lab. I have the academic freedom to go and study the ocean wherever that might be. And I think that's true for a lot of the students here at Scripps, is that the donor support gives us the academic freedom to pursue our interests and to study the things that we're here to study. And without it, it's not that we wouldn't be able to do it, but we would be less free to do so. And I think it contributes greatly to the body and the mind of the research that goes on here.